Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line, presented by Offside News. I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Marcie, and
Hello.
our very special guest, friend of the show and returning guest, Miranda, aka Randy, aka
Yay!
Offside's resident Leafs
Yeah!
beat reporter.
Amen.
Huge day.
That is everything that I am.
It's
Leafs
a huge
reporter,
day for
Leafs
Randy
lover,
Passion.
Leafs pain
Yep.
inducer,
Yep.
all of the above.
Sweet. Yep. Swedish appreciator.
Oh, of course. Nothing but love for my
Swedish
Swedes.
connoisseur.
Yeah, welcome back. We've talked about having you back on since you were on the last time.
Of course.
And here we are in October.
The people just can't get enough, but they did have to wait.
Yeah, we did get really busy, but we also have the magic of talking about two different games.
Woo! How exciting.
Yeah.
Hockey is back, baby.
Hockey is back. It's really exciting. Yeah. I mean, I guess we could start with the biggest story of not today, but of the past week, which is that Dennis Hildeby has officially made his NHL debut.
Yay, baby goalie.
What a day for me.
And that is all because Joseph Wool needs to do more yoga.
He needs to stretch. Brother, what do you mean tightness?
I
Out day to day because you're tight?
Well, the other thing as well that I was so confused by, I was like, isn't this the same guy who said to the media last year, oh yeah, I have a goofy body?
He's just too bendy, but also not bendy enough.
So I don't know what's going on there. No one knows what's going on there, which is always fun.
It's always exactly what you want to hear as a Leafs fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's really
and as
also
who has him drafted on every single one of my fantasy teams. I'm having so much fun right now.
Your poor goalies.
At least you didn't draft Macklin Celebrini and are now sitting with him with also on IR.
Yeah. And I didn't draft Justin Hall to all of my teams this year like I did last year.
Yeah, maybe because he started the season in Grand Rapids.
Justin, I didn't know that. I have not been keeping up with my Justin Hall lore.
Well, it was that Sunday where everyone was getting put on waivers 2 weeks ago. And it was there was 7 former Leafs that were being placed on waivers, including notably Justin Hall and Pierre Engvall.
And Zach Aston-Reese.
And Zach Aston-Reese, who is now in Columbus.
Yeah, he got claimed.
Bad
for him, I guess. I loved seeing him go on waivers, watching him be claimed, and then also seeing his girlfriend and his dogs in a plane the next day. On their Instagram, Lola and Carl wrapped up in these tiny little burritos being shipped off to Ohio. I'm so sorry. This is devastating.
The only thing is he will actually get playing time in Columbus.
God bless.
Thankfully, unlike when he was in not Detroit, Grand Rapids for most of the season last year, and he did not play.
He got playoff time there.
In Grand Rapids, yes, not in Detroit.
Yes, see, you won't get playoff time in Detroit, but you will get it in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Woohoo!
How exciting! The Calder Cup.
Yeah. I also have as well this finally Bobby McMahon played, because that was a weird one where I was okay, why are we doing this?
Don't even get me started. I completely ignored it in my Leafs recap because I was I can't bring myself to question. It's the first week of the year. I can't yet hate Craig Berube, but I sure can damn try.
That was the thing where I was okay, yeah, all right, some players do look better, but also as well, I'm why are we doing this? Where is Timothy Liljegren?
My favorite thing is Conor Timmins, the new Justin Hall.
No, because
I'm so sorry, Marcie. But is Conor Timmins the new, like, this is the GM's favorite, this is the coach's favorite, why the fuck is he still on the ice? Well, who let him here?
We all watched him.
He's throwing the puck.
We all watched him mess up that line change.
Me sitting there screaming at the screen, like my mom sitting next to me going, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Get off the ice! Get off! Why are you here?"
Oh god.
Well, because the thing is that I don't get, and I've had people like try to explain this to me, and I'm like, no, you cannot explain this to me in the way of like, okay, Conor Timmins is getting starts over Timothy Liljegren because he's 6'2". No,
yeah, and that's okay. No. Seriously, I think that's
stop that.
Is he still like bald?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, because remember when he got his buzz cut over the
bald
summer?
Solidarity from Brad Treliving. They put Conor Timmins on the ice in terms of bald solidarity.
They thought maybe if they get a bald frame, it'll grow back.
He got a buzz cut over the summer, and it like, well, it's like he still like has like not the same long hair that he did like during the season last year.
Oh,
but like,
bald solidarity is taking over.
That was like the biggest jump scare. Was like, was Conor Timmins bald?
Conor
That's
Timmins
great.
bald.
I wanted to name this episode something else, but like Conor Timmins bald also works.
Conor Timmins bald? Conor Timmins still on ice?
Conor Timmins still in, like, because that was the thing where because people are like, oh, he has not made such big strides in his game. He's still the same. He's
like, I'm not being put in the nicest way possible. Whenever I'm watching again, he is like completely invisible. Well, I only notice he's there when he does bad things.
Yeah. And like, usually that's fine for a defenseman, but like, I don't know. It's just he's unremarkable. And also as well, it's like he is so not defensively minded. Like he is just a forward who can skate backwards, and we saw that when they played him as a forward that one game.
Oh god.
I forget that happened, and sometimes I wish it never did, just so that I wouldn't have to think about it ever again.
Well, because then also as well, I'm like, he is a forward. He is essentially just Erik Karlsson, but like he's not as good as Erik Karlsson, and therefore does not deserve the same luxuries that Erik Karlsson gets in terms of like a leash.
Yeah.
Why he went 3 games into the season confuses me, where I'm like, okay, but we have like so much for internal competition.
I sit here and I'm staring at the impact card from hockeystatcards.com of the game versus Pittsburgh on Saturday, and just staring at Conor Timmins being the lowest guy there. And then I go and look at the Pittsburgh one, and like they didn't have a horrible game. Like their offense was just horrific. Like that's what it was. It was entirely based on offense. Except for Erik Karlsson, as previously mentioned, and Marcus Pettersson, who was just dog shit. A negative 2.5, and negative 1.27 of that was just defense.
Oh wow.
But Conor Timmins, I mean, he had like, what is it, a negative 1.46? Not great. Half of that's defense.
Yeah, he just like is not good at his job. And poor like Simon Benoit is like, I now am like the only guy playing defense now. And then Simon Benoit takes a penalty trying to play defense, and then we're on the penalty kill.
Stop! Simon Benoit, the only guy playing defense in a sea of like overpaid defensemen. Morgan Rielly, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Chris Tanev. Why do we have Chris Tanev for so long?
I don't want to talk about the Krastanov contract because that is...
I've started ignoring them. I've started a new thing called I don't look at cap prospects. I was going to say cap friendly. Cap friendly died. Puckpedia. I don't look at Puckpedia. I don't look at anything that has to do with salaries. I just look at how long we have them and how good they are. And right now I'm not feeling great. That's all I have to say on that.
I will say, though, it is nice that we won our game against New Jersey, so we could, Sheldon Keefe could experience being against
to the man.
Yeah. It was... Because if the Leafs lost that game, it was going to be the most miserable experience on Twitter that I've ever had.
It was such a nice experience watching Sheldon Keefe be absolutely enraged by the Leafs, but this time it's not because they're fucking up for him. It's because he's fucking up.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a beautiful thing.
It was so delightful. It was refreshing.
It was, and it was also really as well.
Nice to watch him suffer.
I cannot wait to watch like New Jersey Devils fans. Like I say it like the annoying ones.
The specific.
Because we do. No, because there is like some really nice New Jersey Devil fans that like work for Offside, so I can't totally.
Oh, of course.
Our colleagues.
There's at least 5 good ones.
Yeah. Half of them work for Offside.
Yeah, we stole them all. What do you
mean? But I can't wait to watch them just experience like Sheldon Keefe coaching experience, which is like the random timeouts. Like it's like, oh, you let in 2 goals back to back, timeout time.
Mm-hmm.
The mid-game line blender.
Oh, the blender.
And some guy who's not that good somehow getting multiple games starting on the top line, like Alex Kerfoot.
Oh, Alex Kerfoot.
No.
I didn't say top pair Justin Hall with Mark Giordano, because that was a phase.
I forgot that was a phase that we went through and had to endure. I completely forgot. 2 days ago was crazy.
I forgot about it too. But then it was for this show. It was when Morgan Rielly got suspended. I was like, oh, I wonder who was our top pair the last time when Morgan Rielly was hurt and missed all those games the year before. Oh. And so I had to go back through the archives. I was date searching on like David Alter's Twitter account.
A horrific place to do such a thing. It'll be like reviewing the food in the press box and also the Leafs lineup.
And it was like for an extended number of games, it was Justin Hall and Mark Giordano, and then finally Rasmus Sandin got a turn.
Don't make me think about Rasmus Sandin. It'll be a painful experience.
Rasmus Sandin, who had visa issues, playing for the Washington.
Who couldn't start his season on time, who missed all of media camp, which means there's no fun content of Rasmus because he had visa issues. Bro couldn't get into America.
And then Spencer Carberry was like, does anyone know anyone who works for the government? Dude, you play in Washington.
Go knock on a door? I like walk down the street. You're in DC.
Just buy someone a coffee. It'll get sorted in no time.
Yeah, I will say it is a little bit, I don't know if it's like cursed or if it's curse breaking that Max Pacioretty got the first Leafs goal of the season wearing number 67, and I'm choosing to ignore Max Pacioretty for as long as possible by not really talking about him, because I don't want Alan Walsh to be right about the fact that he was essentially signed to a contract. I thought him saying that on Twitter was dumb, and I hated him for it.
Noted Alan Walsh client Max Pacioretty is unfortunately an okay hockey player.
At 35. Like, that was the thing where I was like,
35.
Really?
Ouch. I have a theory.
Ooh.
As the least conspiracy theorist, rest in peace the Nice Domi conspiracy because Arizona's dead.
Rip.
Tic Tac Omar actually posted this first because it makes a lot of sense. I was just riding on the like Max Pacioretty scored the first goal on a PTO, like or just after his PTO, wearing number 67. But this is from Omar's like direct tweet. They lose 1-0 in a home opener on the road, which hasn't happened since the 66-67 season. What else happened in that season? I don't know. Pacioretty scores the first goal of the season while wearing 67. Big. And Hildeby won that game for us, and he's 6'7". So hear us out.
Not to sound like delusional Leaf fans, but
we are.
Look, if the numbers match up,
I'm just
saying,
what?
If you see 67 everywhere, 67 might recreate itself.
Yeah, and it's like when I was signing into my email today, the code to get me in, you'll never guess.
The Microsoft Authenticator code?
Yep. We had a 67, my guys. We had a 67.
Well, it was the thing where it was like back like last episode last episode. I was like right after the game when they lost to Montreal, I was like, when was the last time the Leafs got shut out of their season opener? And I went back and it was the 03-04 season.
No.
Matt Sundin was captain. You know what was the last thing to happen? Like, you know what happened that season?
They won they won
a playoff round.
Yeah.
Which was the last time they did that.
Except for that one other time, but we don't think about that one.
No one counts that one because people are first round exits, Leafs first round. It's like, we have done the thing.
We did the thing that one time. Did we do anything with it? No. I think we lost lost round 2 like 4-1, didn't we? It was really upsetting.
Yeah, it was game 5. But in our defense, Matthew Knights got concussed. Ilya Samsonov got hurt. So then Joseph Wool had to go in with like 7 games played.
Jesus.
Oh, what a time. How did we...
What a time to be alive.
How did my heart not just give in?
I just remember it all being very bad.
And it was.
Yeah. I have nothing else to add besides I love Steven Lorentz, and I say that every single episode. Dude has scored a goal.
I support it.
I'm a big fan of the hometown thing. Grew up a Leafs fan, is now on the Leafs. And then also as well, then, before Toronto's game versus Pittsburgh, John Tavares misses practice with an illness.
We just got rid of the locker room plague, quite literally. And there's no escape.
Careful, he has shooters apparently who get mad if you insinuate that he causes disease outbreaks in locker rooms.
Okay, I'm just right. Fine, I won't insinuate that. I'll just say whenever he coughed, people drop dead. I think not. It's fine.
Leave this mysterious greasy man out of this.
The man from Sudbury.
The greasy man from Sudbury, one of many. Leave him out of this. However, another theory that is likely just true. John has a gaggle of children.
3.
And I can only imagine that he brought home the plague from daycare.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because I'm like, what daycare are John and Aaron sending these kids to, right? You'd have to imagine that it's here you've gone to the private, the most uppity, beautiful little Montessori daycare center, and even
John Tavares would send his kids to a Montessori though. That's the thing where I'm like,
and it would be beige, and it would be very beige, and they'd eat only kale. They'd have little green juice in the morning, and then a banana, and then a vegan lunch. But John is not vegan. But I get vibes from him that I'm like, the kombucha keg really set me off for life. Where I'm like, this man is not normal, but I love him regardless. And I love him more now that he's not the captain.
Yeah,
lots to say on that.
Well, yeah, that was still like my funniest thing, where it was like, I hate that we had to learn that like through Steve Dangle. That was such a terrible, awful experience.
I hate learning anything through that man.
Yeah.
But it was like the fact where it was like, we learned that he had we know that John Tavares had like the kombucha keg, and then afterwards he housed 2 rookies in his basement with said kombucha keg. And then it opened me to a plethora of kombucha kegger parties that are getting thrown in John Tavares' basement.
I'm just like, does he get somebody in to like clean the taps of the thing, like how you have to do at a bar? But also is like Matthew Nye's like sitting upside down, like pulling on the keg, like just drinking straight from the keg in the basement.
Matthew Nye was holding Fraser Minton.
Oh god.
To do keg stands.
Like they're doing keg stands, but they don't realize it's kombucha, and John comes down and is like, "What are you guys doing?" Like the kids are asleep upstairs and just 2 other kids are like fucking around downstairs. Like Matthew has moved past the days of like going downtown to the Eaton Center to buy a book, but instead is now just like, "Hey guys, it's time to throw a rager in Dad's basement with kombucha kegs."
I'm thinking about this thing where it's like, if I definitely, like, if I was in that basement and like I didn't know that like the kombucha keg was hooked up, because like whatever, you're like, oh, I'm staying in John Tavares' basement, blah blah blah, and then you see it's like, is it hooked up?
Is it the booch or is it the beer? Like that's the question of the day. You're like pouring yourself a sampler. You're like, what is this actually? New Russian roulette just be like, game just dropped, is boocher beer. Like
well, Russian roulette is also how I describe watching Ilya Samsonov play goalie.
Ow.
I'm so glad he's gone.
He's Vegas' problem now.
He had some smile. He was a very like lovely little guy. So glad he's not my goalie.
Yeah. Actually, I never checked how he did. He was playing in net for Vegas the other night, against the Ducks, and they won 3-1. Oh, I didn't know he could do that.
Didn't know he was capable.
I didn't know he was. Yeah. It was also James Reimer in net for Anaheim, so that was fun. I didn't watch the game. Oh, a 9:57. Huh.
So that is possible.
Maybe you just have to have good defense.
Move to Vegas.
Have we considered good defense?
No. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if I'd consider like the Vegas Golden Knights on having like good defense, but
I have never once paid attention to their game. I actively avoid watching the Knights. I dislike them.
Yeah, I choose to put myself first.
I gotta put me first.
I gotta put me first.
I just can't do it.
No, it'll be interesting. Having to watch them twice a year.
And no more. Not a single game more.
Yeah. Also, so Toronto and Pittsburgh, Stoller's in net, Tavares not playing. And all I have is Timmins still in. Parentheses, why? Question mark.
Great question.
Yeah,
I wish I could answer it.
Yeah, and then I just have Leafs taking a lot of penalties. Michael Bunting and Simon Benoit are at each other's throats.
Yeah, rat on rat, like, violence. What?
Like, that was like, they seem to just always like find each other, and then they're always just like yapping.
It's beautiful. I truly think we got rid of Michael Bunting so that we could find another Michael Bunting who's also Quebecois.
Yeah. Yeah.
And plays defense, you know?
And plays and plays defense. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's exactly what happened. That's where Simon Benoit came from. We cloned him from Michael Bunting. And like, then he ended up in Anaheim and we took him. We said, "You're ours now. Thanks."
Yeah, but Michael Bunting didn't score, which
I was so pleased. That is a type of curse that one can only dream breaks. The ex-Leaf versus Leaf goal that always happens. I was actually just kind of waiting for it to happen, and it never did, and I was so glad.
Yeah, I'm also like glad that we only got one career milestone that game, and that was Evgeny Malkin hitting 1,300 points.
So glad it was only one, because he's very close to another one. If he had gotten a hat trick that game, it would have been 800 goals.
500 goals.
500?
500 goals.
800's way too many for any one man to score. I should know this.
800 is like Gordie Howe.
OV numbers.
But yeah, no, he's now one away because he scored one last night against Montreal, in Montreal, with like Phil Kessel there, because Phil Kessel's playing poker now. Sure.
Why not?
Man found his hot dogs in another place. It didn't need to be a hockey locker room.
He's joining the World Poker Tour, and so I guess now he's like noted card shark and 3-time Stanley Cup winner Phil Kessel.
What?
Yeah.
That's
so he was like in
news.
Montreal in like the World Poker Tour like in their like suite at the game, and I was waiting for them to show him like on the broadcast, but it was like the dumb new Prime broadcast that made me experience Marc Messier at intermission.
I'm blown away. I'm enthralled by Phil Kessel. I don't even know what to say to that. That's beautiful. What a beautiful like endeavor for him to journey on. You know, you win 3 Stanley Cups and what the fuck is left? Cards. Let's play poker. This is what all those hours on the planes have been training him for.
Because I think he was if I remember correctly, like when he was with like the Leafs, he was a big poker guy. I'm trying to. That would have to go like really far.
Imagine.
But yeah, I don't know, I have other goals. I mean, William Nylander finally scored, which means that my parents could stop asking me over Thanksgiving dinner when any of the core 4 guys were going to score this season.
Yeah.
That's always fun, is when, you know, people ask you every time they see you. So how do you think the Leafs are doing this season? They've played 3 games.
They've played 3 games. Leave Austin Matthews alone.
He's dealing. He's find his hairline. Okay, he's going through things.
His hairline is receding annually. It hurts all of us, including him and his scoring ability.
He does have to like fully accept it and like take one out of like the page of another former Leaf captain who also goes by Mats and just shave it all off.
Guys, if I have to see Austin Matthews bald this year for more bald solidarity with Brad Treliving, I can't take it. We can't.
Oh.
And it's not like Austin's playing poorly. He's playing very well. He's just not putting the puck in the net.
No, he's hitting it off the crossbar. Which I think there was that stat that someone put together last year that was like, oh, if all of Austin Matthews' goals that went off the crossbar had actually gone in, which is not how hockey works, but sure, let us have some fun here. He would be like, I think it was like something where it would be like mid-80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was easily how many it was.
That's beautiful.
I was just like, fantastic.
Fantastic. Can they be goals though? Can he put them in the net?
Yeah, and it's fine, Austin, because Connor McDavid also isn't scoring.
Yeah.
No, he's having a bad time. Like, Austin has 8 shots on goal and is still just like, being a defensive powerhouse. Connor McDavid's entire team is crumbling and dying. The Edmonton Oilers are in pain. Which I think is just their new way to start the season, and they're trying to recreate whatever they had last year, which was just like clawing by the skin of their teeth and somehow making it to the Stanley Cup Final Game 7.
Yeah.
Because that was crazy. Maybe they'll do it again this year. I hope they don't, for my sake and for theirs.
Yeah, no, like, that was the thing where I'm like, maybe not. Maybe we get, like, that one Leafs beat reporter really, really wanted when they were talking to Joseph Wool. We get Leafs and Stars. Stanley Cup Final.
I don't know. It is possible. That's possible, right? Like, it's possible. But what would it mean to you? Oh, I get what you mean now.
Which I'm like sitting there, I'm like, so like, did you want the quote of him going, yes, it's going to be like, yeah, Stars Leafs Stanley Cup Final. Clock it. Put my bet, like, betting now. Or
he's
did
like,
you just
sorry,
want to ask?
Sorry, Mr. Reporter, I can't bet. They will suspend me for 32 games or whatever it was.
41.
41, half the season.
They
Guys, will. Please.
Don't even sneak that into existence, because I would not survive. Like, you would never.
I think you would stop being a hockey fan if that happened.
But then also as well,
no, I'm in too deep.
The Stars and Leafs don't play until December.
It was just a random, like...
So I was like...
Wouldn't it be fun to play against your good old buddy Otter?
Yeah, literally, that's what you could have asked. But also at the same time, that still is, like, a bad question to ask before even before the season starts, when you don't play that team for 2.5 months.
Yep. I love Toronto media.
So good.
Their questions are always really informative to me as a fan and fellow writer about hockey. I love the Toronto Sun.
I love learning what not to ask a hockey player in a media scrum.
Sometimes it feels like a masterclass in how not to behave in a locker room.
Like, I really learned stuff as someone who is now doing slightly more media scrums, but at, like, U Sports level.
Reporting on, like, this 12-year-old kid getting a hattie. There's, like, no goalie in the net.
No, it is the 20-year-old QM ajo who prefers to speak French. And so then I, as the only French speaker in the scrum, must ask all the questions.
That's beautiful.
Look at you.
Not the really QH outs.
The QH outs. He came from Sherbrooke.
Those guys just end up on, like, Dalhousie's U Sport team in Halifax. They're their men's hockey team at Dalhousie, and they become insufferable, and the team is not good.
No, that is they end up, like, if they prefer to speak for, they end up, like, on U Ottawa's men's U Sports hockey team, and they're actually pretty good this year.
Yeah, because they just pigeonhole all the French speakers
into
the one school and go, every French guy in the Quebec Maritimes Major Junior Hockey League, or whatever it is called now.
The Q. We'll just keep calling it the Q.
It is always the Q. It will never be the QM. It's just the Q.
Yeah, it's the Q. The Q who now plays, like, 4 less games than the rest of the CHL. Because sure, why not?
They like to think that they're being nicer to the guys when actually they put them at a disadvantage. But it's also healthier for them. But they're not going to develop in the same way as other guys in, like, the O and the dub. So it's just funny to watch happen.
But also as well, it's like when you then have to explain to people who did not grow up in the CHL cult environment of like, yeah, no, but they're different leagues, but they don't play each other until the Mem Cup. Oh, you want to know what the Mem Cup is? The Mem Cup is like the Holy Grail for like 17-year-olds.
Yeah, they all have their own cups in their own leagues, but those ones are like winning the President's Trophy.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And sometimes it's seen as a curse. So don't touch it, and then go to the Member Cup, and then you're gonna lose if you're not in the O. Like, I'm so sorry.
Like, yeah, no, you're gonna lose especially if you're playing the London Knights, but the London Knights will also then lose in the final. But then we'll also keep like half of the guys they had the year before. It's all about the Knights, baby.
London. It's all about the Knights. In the same way that the NHL is all about the Leafs, the OHL is all about the London Knights.
It is and more so than when it's all about the Leafs. No. It is actually genuinely all about the Knights. Just go look at like their NHL alumni section on their Wikipedia page.
You'll get it then. And sometimes Oshawa. Oshawa likes to pitch in.
Yeah. So then you get John Tavares, who's a product of both.
Congrats. He was good, and now he gets paid a lot.
Now he has kids.
He has kids and a kombucha keg and 2 rookies who sometimes live in his basement, and he plays for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well,
he has more goals this season than Austin Matthews.
And that's the captaincy curse, baby. You pass the captaincy and you can score again. Congratulations. Maybe people will want to re-sign you when it comes around to like March.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah,
pay cut.
Yeah. So yeah, the back to school daycare toddler germs are going around the Leafs locker room. With John Tavares was back today at regular practice, but William Nylander was not. And
kill me now.
Yeah. It is really funny though, because before we started like recording this, I was watching John Tavares's media availability today, which I always think is fun, seeing who they pick to do it, and then it always seems really cruel. You're gonna pick the guy who was just sick to speak to Toronto media.
Are they trying to get the media sick? So that
maybe that's what it is.
Questions. Like, are they? We're gonna put John Tavares out here as a bioweapon.
Oops! No more Toronto media is all sick. Oops!
He's like coughing on David Alter. Poor guy. Lean towards
Steve Simmons. Steve Simmons.
Lean towards Steve, John. Put Steve in the front today. I want to make it very clear, for legal reasons, I am not threatening bioweapons on Steve Simmons of the Toronto Sun. Legally, this is a joke.
Yeah, because now we're like, like Offside does not have lawyers.
We don't. I don't
even think we have a law student, so it's like, yeah.
If that's chill, we could find one. Open call for law students who wish to get court time.
I mean,
searching a co-op placement.
Arguing.
Have you seen Legally Blonde?
Good enough.
You're hired.
Put me in.
But I will say, yeah, John's media availability, it was really funny because they asked him like way too many questions than like me as a fan felt comfortable hearing about his like illness. I was like, I do not want to hear John Tavares talk about gastro.
What? I did not have time to watch the media avail today. They asked him if he was like shitting his pants on the ice.
Essentially, yes, that's what their questions implied, because they were like, "Oh, well, William Nylander said you were kind of working through it on the game, during the game in New Jersey, and like, can you just like tell us what that was?" He was like, "Yeah, I wasn't like feeling 100% like that game, but like it was fine. I just battled through it." And then it like really hit me when I got home that night after the flight and was like getting ready for bed. And I was like, I don't need to know the timeline of John Tavares' gastro.
That poor man.
Meanwhile, he like still looks like half ill. Like, you know when like you can tell someone has been sick because they just look like tired
Green.
and gross. Yeah. And
John Tavares is like a pale shade of light green. Oh God. John, no.
But like that,
what are they doing to you?
So, like, if you do want more details about John Tavares' illness, and perhaps maybe what William Nylander is currently going through, go watch John Tavares' media availability. It is discussed.
Oh, and his hat's just like a hat that's covered in sweat. Yeah. Oh, this is like, yeah. Oh, John. John, go home and lay in bed.
Yeah. But yeah, no, what else do I have? Oh, well, hey, Timothy Liljegren may be back in the lineup tomorrow. Who knows?
Please. Who knows? I don't. That's for sure. I'd put money on it. My concern is that while he's playing tomorrow, is it a showcase for other teams that he's being shopped to so that they can see what he can actually do because they weren't paying attention during preseason? Or is he going to get 3 more games in the lineup and then they're going to swap him with Conor Timmins again and we're just going to live in this perpetual hell all year? I would prefer the swapping him back and forth than being traded away because I think the Leafs sometimes have the defenseman problem where we're like, here's this rookie from the AHL who has had 2 games this year. We are now putting him in. Yeah, we are now putting him on the team for a night because everyone you know is either ill, contracted mono. Who's to say like Conor Timmins isn't going to be out with mono again this year? Or is just like suspended. Morgan Rielly's going to take a crazy hit at yet another Ottawa Senator, and maybe
it's going to be Nick Cousins this time. It's going to be Nick Cousins this time.
My God.
Well, okay, my favorite thing is like, so Ottawa and LA played yesterday afternoon.
And it was crazy.
It was a crazy 8-7 overtime win for Ottawa. I felt like I was losing my mind watching that game, and I very heavily regret the fact that I then have to cover the Ottawa Senators. But Kyle Dubas was in Ottawa watching that game.
What? Who was playing that is from the Sioux Greyhounds?
Nick Cousins.
Oh my God.
You're kidding!
I was
not.
Like, typing. I literally saw that he was there, and I was like, okay, so time to go look up NHL alumni from the Sioux and see who is currently on the LA Kings or the Ottawa Senators, and the only guy was Nick Cousins. And so then I, as a joke, tweeted out, Nick Cousins trade to Pittsburgh soon. As a joke. People thought I was, like, some guy thought I was serious, being like, oh, they're not going to trade Nick Cousins. I know that. I know Steve Stamkos is not going to trade Nick Cousins. But it is really funny to make the joke that because he was a Greyhound.
Oh my God. Kyle it's also Dubas. Like the timeline works too because Kyle Dubas was in the Sioux from 2011 onward until he started working for the Marlies.
Exactly.
And Nick Cousins played for the Sioux in the 09 to 2013.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I keep making Darnell Nurse to Pittsburgh jokes.
Stop.
It's why because there's nothing Kyle Dubas loves more than overpaying a guy. especially a defenseman. And
oh my god, you're right.
I keep making those jokes because I'm like, guys, like, Kyle Dubas loves his guys.
Jesus Christ. I hate that Kyle Dubas loves his guys. I hate it. Stop giving me these good-for-nothing Sioux Greyhounds. I'm tired.
It's like,
Please.
you look, I wanted to do this at some point, was to do research into, like, how many guys, like, over, like, across his entire career, like, working in, like, for the Marlies, for the Leafs, and then for the Penguins, of how many guys, like, Kyle Dubas has acquired who, in various ways, like, whether it's through trade or drafting them or whatever, or just picking them off waivers, who played for the Greyhounds.
Jesus.
And I was looking through the list of Sioux, like, alumni, and I was like, oh, it's most of them.
It's, like, actually upsetting. Also, the fact that Sheldon Keefe is one of them, because he was the coach of the Sioux. Like,
That's the best
it just
part.
keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse.
It's like, it was at one point, like, half of the Leaf scouting staff used to, like, work for the Greyhounds.
Kyle, you can't do this.
I will say that,
Lord.
like, the one thing that, like, is gonna put me over the edge is if Kyle Dubas, like, steals Brandon Pridham.
That will kill me. That will actually kill me.
Do not say it.
I'm gonna go, like, that is actually, like, because it's not as bad as, oh my god, who's the scout guy? Oh my god, why am I blanking on his name? Who left during the summer and then was, like, kept sending motivational quotes to, like, the Leaf rookies, like, to, like, Easton Cowan. I was like, why are you doing this?
What? Like, I know about this. Oh god. Who? Like, digging through news.
No, because it was back during the summer. I'm sure if you, like, look up, like,
It's probably during one of those media things. It's like, here's our 1 million staff updates.
Yeah. No, because it's like, I think if you even go to, like, the NHL, like, the Penguins, like, staff page, it'll be there, because I think he got, like, a promotion technically.
Jesus. I forever think about him doing that with Jason Spezza, except Spezza was like, oh, you're leaving? They got rid of you? Bye. I'll see you in Pittsburgh. Like, what? Oh my god, crazy summer. Jason Spezza is like...
Oh, Wes Clark. There we go. Because he's now, like, vice president of player personnel. Yeah, Wes Clark. It's like, that was the thing. He, like, totally, like, was like, I'm gonna take Wes Clark with me. Just gotta wait for his contract to run out with Toronto. And he's gonna, and I'm so afraid he's gonna do that with Brandon Pridham. And then the Leafs are gonna be absolutely screwed. Because there is no other man that can get the Leafs, like, $1 below the cap.
No, that cap gymnastics is... I don't think about it. I'm not allowed to anymore. It makes me stressed.
I see the Kyle Cushman tweet that's like, the Leafs are $1 under the salary cap. I'm like, woohoo!
Good for us. Congrats.
Good for us.
We did a great job.
Yeah. I will say, though, it is really funny then when it's like, the reason why is because, hey, watch our home opener. Look at all of the guys who are not playing. Because they're hurt.
Everyone's injured, really mysteriously. What happened to Callie Yarncroke?
No one knows.
Where in the world is Callie Yarncroke? And, like,
we need to make another graphic.
The greater Toronto area.
Probably Etobicoke. Or it's like, yeah, here's Connor Dewar for the first time this entire season.
God, remember the guys on the bench that I was just like, I forgot we had you still.
Yanni
like Connor Dewar. Yeah. Yanni Hakanpää, where the hell did he come from? Like
the signing that I, like, since, like, July 1, I've been saying, why are we doing this? Brad, no, please, we don't need him. And then, like, it happens while I'm, like, in Europe, and I'm like, this is the worst experience of my entire life.
Yeah. What a time.
It's always just the big bad D-men, where they're like, have we considered getting a man who's very large and likes to hit things, not only pucks but people?
The only caveat is his lower joints may not all be functioning.
This is a John Klingberg signing. He's gonna play 9 games, and then we're gonna put him on LTIR and never see him again. We're gonna look at him during the playoffs when he's up in the box.
Yeah, yeah. And his wife is still gonna get to go to all of the lovely, lovely WAG events, which is nice. And people are gonna make Robidas Island jokes all season long.
It's like, my question is, did they take John Klingberg out back and shoot him?
They shot his knee.
Yeah, they didn't have to do that. It was bad enough already.
They just kind of pushed him the wrong way.
Did they take pity and put him out of his misery?
That might have been nicer than making him watch from the sidelines for the whole year.
Yeah.
Ouch.
But there was also like other guys where I was like, oh, that's what Philip Myers looks like.
Sorry, okay, Philip Myers is a really funny one to me because he used to be like on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and as a secret Tampa fan, God bless my soul, I've been watching Phil Myers since they acquired this guy, which Phil Myers, let me double check this before I say something
from
crazy.
Moncton? With that
Yeah,
spelling?
He's from Moncton.
With
he's
that
from Monkey
spelling?
Town. Yeah, they're the bilingual province.
I know they're bilingual. I did attend a Canadian education system. Like, this does get brought up in every single one of my lectures, at least once a semester.
Phil Myers has a crazy collection of just trades in his career that are always related to other people, and he's also present.
Got his trade card.
So he got traded in like July 2021 with Nolan Patrick from Philadelphia to the Nashville Predators for Ryan Ellis. Crazy trade in itself. Then in July 2022, he got traded from Nashville with another random bad D prospect to Tampa for Ryan McDonough, the trade that famously killed Avery Beaumont.
Avery, technically our boss, but also good personal friend of the show.
Close friend of the podcast, Avery Beaumont. Famously, Ryan McDonough is his favorite person ever. But that was a cap relief situation for Tampa, saying, we need to get rid of this man, we're paying too much money, and send him to Nashville just to re-sign him in a few years. Another crazy thing.
After getting rid of his close personal friend, Steven Stamkos.
Yes, of course.
To the team that Ryan McDonough came from.
So, also what's crazy, I'm pretty sure he was loaned to the Marlies while he was in Nashville.
Yes, he was. Yes,
in the 21-22 season for 16 games. Thank you, Hockey
16
DB.
games where he scored 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points, racked up 20
and had a -3
minutes.
And a -3. Let's go, Phil Myers. But when he was in Tampa, he spent the majority of his time in Syracuse, their AHL affiliate, which is like famous for being the best developmental like AHL team. I don't know what the fuck is in the water in that upstate New York team. But good lord, coming up with Anthony Cirelli, Matthew Joseph, Braden Point, like all of these guys went through Syracuse and are now like stars for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So maybe Phil Myers took some of that. I can dream. But when he was called up to Tampa, he wasn't good. He was present on the ice and was frequently a 7th D man who would just kind of lingered in the background. But I have high hopes. He's a Maritimer, so I have to be nice to him. He didn't play on like a Q team that I enjoy, but he did win the Q when he was in the Q.
Yeah, he also in 2017 was at World Juniors, which was the year that like Alex Nylander and Dylan Strome were there.
Famously a crazy year for hockey.
Wow.
And Anthony Cirelli and Taylor Radish and Matthew Joseph and Pierre-Luc Dubois, like a crazy year. Dylan Dubé, Tom Chabot, like an actually crazy year. Matt Barzal, like this is a crazy year for the
Who won
U20
this
championships.
Who won 2017?
Was
it us?
2017 U20 World Cup.
It was in Montreal.
That's FIFA.
And Toronto.
That's not hockey. That's FIFA.
World Juniors. There we go.
It was the US.
Oh no!
Oh, my heart.
Oh wait, no, this was like the stupid goated like this was like the part of like the 3 years where like the US national team was like stupidly goated because their goaltenders were absolutely ridiculous. Hold on, I gotta find this.
They also had Clayton Keller. They had Charlie McAvoy. They had like, Jack Roslovic. Yeah, Ryan Lindgren.
It was the goated like it was like part of those like not 3 years, but like there was like that span of like 2015 to 2017 where like the US was really good because they had like their goaltending was like Jake Ottinger, Thatcher Demko, and Joseph Woll. Oh yeah, no, this was the year where Joseph Woll was there. And Jake Ottinger, and like those were your goalies. And then they also had like Tage Thompson, like Charlie McAvoy.
You want to know who else was
Leafs
there?
legend Joey Anderson.
You want to know who else was there for a different team? Team Russia's goalie was Ilya Samsonov, and he was the all-star goalie of the defenseman, or of the tournament, of the defenseman.
Oh
he was the goalie on the all-star team of the tournament.
No, because he was drafted weirdly high by Washington in 2015.
Yep. The all-star team from this World Championship, the goalie was Ilya Samsonov, the D-men were Tom Chabot and Charlie McAvoy, and the forwards were Kaprizov, Alex Nylander, and Clayton Keller.
Noted NHL legend Alex Nylander.
Amen. He's only good in international tournaments and nowhere else. It's actually hilarious. And for some reason, he's really great when he's on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Happy Hattie. I cried.
When he outscores his brother for like 2 weeks.
I truly, when he got that hat trick last year, I cried. It was beautiful.
You're so real for that.
It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
I love Alexander Nylander. No one believes in him like I do.
He scored for the Marlies the other day, this weekend, against San Diego.
Great when he's not against like NHL teams.
Which is a shame.
Which is a shame, but it's good that he's on an AHL only deal. Maybe he'll earn an NHL deal through the year. Give me a little two-way Alexander Nylander. His headshot for this year is on HockeyDB now, and he just looks very Alex.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it otherwise.
The best part is it's like he's like, I'm just waiting for the eventual like end of the season where it's like, okay, Alex Nylander is still living like with his brother, and then like Rasmus Sandin just like shows up from Washington.
Stop. Stop. You can't talk to me about this. See, watching the Amazon Prime show and just from the corner of my eye, the side of the screen, out of focus, going, is that Rasmus Sandin? Like, expecting Alex and going, that's Rasmus. And then going, oh God. And then like scrolling it back and being like, I know that man too well to be like, that can't be Rasmus. That wouldn't be Rasmus at all. It was Rasmus. It's
like,
always Rasmus.
And that's the other thing too. I'm like, how I was like then thinking, I'm like, okay, like I know the Capitals got swept, but like still that this would imply that like as soon
4 days later,
like he was like flying to Toronto the next day after like locker clean out, flight to Toronto, shows up in William Nylander's apartment.
Taking care of the dogs. Somebody's got to do it. But what's fascinating to me is like Willie's gaggle of sisters, who I'm pretty sure were there for like a lot of it.
Yeah, they were.
At least a few of them. The younger two, they kind of like to appear out of nowhere. Love them to death.
School's on break.
School's on break. Because, oh my God, Stephanie is like in the States for tennis, like on a tennis scholarship or something. And then Ella lives at home because she just graduated from high school. So those two are kind of the ones who show up in North America the most.
Disappear.
They appear and they're like, my brother is playing hockey. And I'm like, yeah, he is. Thank you for giving me the extra content during All-Star weekend. I love you. But it's quite funny that they just like show up and are not in the apartment with them because like Willie's like, I need to be away from family, but Alex doesn't count. Alex is just my best friend. My sisters are my sisters. You know what I mean? Like, I find it interesting that like Michael isn't there and like his mom isn't there, blanking on her name. It's just interesting to me.
I can't tell you what her name is either.
Not a clue. I'm so sorry.
But like also so I was watching that and I was like,
it's Camilla.
I was watching the Amazon series, and like first of all I was watching it in like the same room as my roommate, which was a mistake because she'd be like, oh, are they childhood friends, as they show the montage of Pasta and Willie like as teenagers, and I was like, no. like no, yes, yeah, they've known each other for a long time, but I was like watching, I was like, there feels like there's just something missing from that episode. I don't know. And then I realized I was like, oh, because they didn't address like anything besides William Nylander with the Leafs. There's like a lot going on. I found it funny that
they just like it's very much a series. I haven't watched the rest of it. I only watched the Willie episode because I was like, I don't have enough time to binge this right now. But even just the Willie episode, sure, it like pretends to cover the full year, but it only really talked about playoffs time.
Yeah, which is like the same issue like that I had with like 100 Days to Indy, which is like the IndyCar version of the whole thing, where it was like just the 100 days lead up to like the Indy 500. I'm like, but the most exciting part about the IndyCar season is like the 4 months of races that take place after the month of May. Not the 100 days lead up to the 500. No, everything exciting happens like once teams are like putting random drivers in cars because they've run out of money. Like that's the best part, and you're missing it. And it's like the same thing where it was like, I know it's the same producers of Drive to Survive, which I've unfortunately watched in its entirety. And it
okay. No, I'm all right. Could have been a fucking text.
I'm leaving that in.
Oh god.
I'm not editing it out. But
sorry,
it was like
Dave, never listen to this. Housemates, am I right?
But like the thing is like that Drive to Survive covers the full season. It like makes shit up and lies to you, but it covers the full season. Whereas like Face Off was like, oh, okay, so this is not for me. This is for people who want to get into hockey, which is not me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It was very much catered towards people who don't already know these players, and have no investment in like what the NHL is, how playoffs work, because they do have Biz as an analyst. Which
my favorite thing was like Biz, like broadcaster, Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and I'm so glad they gave him the Will Buxton edit. I'm so happy he was the one to receive the Will Buxton edit, because I love like Jack, because they also had Jackie Redmond in it, and I love her. She's great, and I was like, if they give her like the dumbass, like the Will Buxton edit is like the guy who like explains the really like if you're not finishing first, you're not winning, like random stuff like that, where I was like, okay, so they had to give someone the Will Buxton edit, and it was Biz, and I was sitting there like, yes, noted broadcaster Biz Nasty. He was also a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
I love that he's listed as Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Well,
because that's also true of Paul Bissonnette.
Yeah, no, he is. Unfortunately, him and I are battling it out as who can be the biggest Phil Kessel shooter. And I'm winning.
Yeah.
You will always win this.
But it was also because they had like they had Pete Blackburn there too as like the Boston fan. And I was like, and then they never did that concept again. I was like, oh, so you couldn't find like a Vegas Golden Knights fan who works in
this
broadcast.
Is really funny because it's just like perpetuating the issue and narrative that Florida Panthers have no fans. No, guys, I swear there's Florida Panthers fans. It's just not me. I'm a Matthew Tkachuk fan first and foremost.
London Knights.
Everyone else is a bonus. I'm fan of ex-Florida Panthers when they joined my team, like Steven Lorentz and Anthony Stolarz. I will
notably did not mention OEL there.
And I continue to not. Famously, I will never like bend or break for Sam Bennett if he were to join the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Can we stop with that? Where did this rumor come from, and why was it something that felt like it sprang out of nowhere on like a TSN broadcast 2 games into the season?
Sam Bennett to the Leafs. What could go wrong?
It was like, okay, Carter Verhaeghe signed his contract extension in the locker room, apparently. Like, because that totally changed how I thought that, like, I knew that, like, contract negotiations mostly go between, like, the agent and the team. But, like, it's the fact that, like, Bill Zito is coming into the locker room and saying to, like, a half-dressed Carter Verhaeghe, hey, by the way, the deal's done.
I'm imagining that, like, it's not even a paper copy. It's just
DocuSign?
Like, it's a DocuSign, but it's, like, on the iPad that they, like, watch the plays back on. And they have to, like, rewire one so that it can use Safari. So that they can, like, okay, guys, I need to, like, figure this out.
Oh, God.
Well, it was, like, the other thing, too, where it's, like, where you see the, like, the TikToks from, like, of, like, can't wait, like, let's go to Staples so my husband can sign his contract. It's, like, we're still doing this by paper? Yes. You still have to go to Staples to print off a contract. Why are we not doing this with, like, DocuSign? Like,
sorry, I just read the funniest tweet in support of a Sam Bennett signing. I will now read this aloud for
dramatic reading.
Dramatic reading of this tweet from a guy named Gary on Twitter. This was tweeted 4 days ago. The Leafs have solidified the defense and the goaltending. But seriously, none of our top 6 forwards have much bite. Give us a JT Miller or Sam Bennett type in the mix. Then we'll have something for the playoffs. We don't need Yamcroc or Liljegren. Yamcroc. Spelled Jamcrock. Yamcroc.
Wow.
Sorry, can we rewind to the part where it like implied that JT Miller is the player that's gonna put the Leafs over
my favorite enforcer in a top six forward like setup? JT Miller.
I'm like, apologies to like all of like the many Vancouver Canucks fans. JT Miller. Yeah, noted goon, JT. Does JT Miller have a Hockey Fights page?
I don't know.
I'm looking. He does.
He does? When was his last
his
fight
top
on
rating?
And I forgot he fought Anthony Mantha like the other night.
Yeah. And then it was Jake McBain in Arizona before that. His top rating is a 5.81 on Hockey Fights. This is his top fight, and it was Casey. I think is that Casey's? No, it's Cole Smith of the Nashville Predators. I was like, Casey DeSmith, you can't fight that guy.
Fight the guy. Well,
and it was March 6, 2023, and people say that he won. Is it a good fight? Who even knows?
I don't know, but like I am like traverse. Hold on, he fought 7 times in 2011. What is this? Oh, this is when he was. This is not that. I don't know any of these. This is like AHL or something. But good for you, because okay, like I shouldn't be surprised because like Connor McDavid technically has a Hockey Fights page. Which is it really the one funny.
Time that he threw a punch and broke his hand?
I think that's actually on here because the only fights on here are the 2 fights from when he was in Erie in 2014. Which is really funny that it's like
Conor McDavid fight this season? ?
Conor McDavid. He might have to.
Conor McDavid's gonna become an enforcer. He's learning from Corey Perry.
Because Corey Perry, who has more goals than Conor McDavid.
Jesus.
Yeah. Because, like, I think there's nothing more cursed than the Edmonton Oilers starting their season with a Corey Perry goal as their first one after getting shut out 6-0 by Winnipeg.
I mean, start as you mean to go on. Like,
I just can't deal with like the Winnipeg Jets good ? Conversation because
Winnipeg Jets not good. Winnipeg Jets got lucky.
Winnipeg Jets so bad.
Winnipeg Jets
I'm waiting for like
Oilers took pity on them.
I'm waiting for the 2 like scheduled Winnipeg Jets losses to the Leafs because they've never won since that stupid video from the North Division series where it's like, is there anything better than beating the Leafs? They haven't won since against the Leafs, which is hilarious. But yeah, Pete O'Chell announced their schedule as well today.
You know what other news we're missing? Steve Dangle's new book came out today.
Oh.
Can't
Do I need to read it?
What comes from that? I feel like I need to read it just to know.
There's an audiobook version. BBL?
Yeah, I think the audio, because I know that the audiobook for his like. Oh, it's on Spotify, so you can listen to the audiobook for free on Spotify.
Oh.
I am opening my Spotify. I am downloading it. Because somebody has to do a book review of this. And
I want to see how it fares on Goodreads.
It came out today.
I don't think it has very many goodwill.
I'm like the advanced copy readers.
Oh, the people who got it at the like the book signing he did.
True. It's 8 hours and 54 minutes long.
Hey, that's shorter than his first book.
I haven't read that one.
I started listening to it because I was like, maybe I should know about the stories and I like stopped through like during the zoo section because I was like, I really don't give a crap about the zoo.
I'm loving the chapters called My Basement is Better Than Yours, Goalie Mount Rushmore, Goat Ski, and Women's Hockey Troll Eulogy. Can't wait to read this.
Fantastic. I think we should also be focusing on like who at MLSE gave SDPN season-long media credentials.
Jesse got creds, but Steve did not. Steve is not allowed to be back there. They said no more of you. We'll give him to Sportsnet, but we'll only give him to Jesse.
But also as well as like I'm like, what? I already like do not enjoy this like Jesse beat reporter era because why was he like, oh yeah, Max Domi was the best player or something? Like it was something dumb like that where like that was what he said. He was like, oh yeah, against Pittsburgh, Max Domi was the best player for the Leafs. I was like, sure. That's what we'll go with.
Jesse, please.
Me when I'm not convinced.
Me when I lie on the internet.
Me when I lie for fun. I do love that Jesse's just like given up on using like athletes' real names. Domi, Robo, Riley, Patches, McMahon on Power Play 2.
Hey, no, it's the relatability to the fans by using the nicknames. He is not like other beat reporters. He's a cool beat reporter.
So cool.
I'm not like other beat reporters. You know what? At least it's not Adam Wilde. God bless Jesse.
Yeah, we can slightly avoid the like Nepo baby allegations there.
Yeah.
Forget Luke Hughes, the real Nepo baby.
Hey, the real Nepo baby is Alex Nylander. Come on now.
I think collectively we should stop talking about Luke Hughes and talk more about Bronny James.
Good grief.
As a collective. I do also, before, like, I do want to make sure that you guys have seen this graphic because Prime did their first broadcast last night of the Penguins and Montreal Canadiens game for Monday Night Hockey, replacing Sportsnet. And all I have to say as someone who watched that game, why did we give up sport? Like, why did Sportsnet do this to us? Because I now have to listen to Mark Messier at intermission mispronounce Juraj Slafkovsky's name.
What?
He during the first intermission, he mispronounced it twice, like so horribly that I was like, what am I watching? And then Slafkovsky scored during the second period, and I was like, oh great, we're gonna have to listen to this again. And then someone must have told him just don't say Slafkovsky, because he then went out of his way to avoid saying his name during the second intermission.
You could just say Slav. Like, people would get it. Just pull a Biz and call everyone a nickname. It would be easier to watch.
But also as well, like, I was, like, sitting there, I was like, not only can he just not pronounce names, he also is just terrible on TV and provides no, like, deeper analysis on the game than, like, what I could do. Like, it's not like grief. When you get... Where I was sitting here, I was like, oh, so this is why people complained about him on NHL Network. Oh!
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, I do want to send you this graphic that I don't know if you guys have seen it because I posted it, but I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. That they put so I'm sending it to both of you now. That they put on the broadcast last night.
Oh my god!
What?
So for our audio listeners, love you to death.
Yeah.
This graphic is it's called Pittsburgh's Mount Rushmore, Years with Penguins. And it features Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, Sidney Crosby, and Evgeny Malkin replacing the heads on Mount Rushmore.
Sid Gino, what did they do to you?
Why does Gino have such like a mighty cheekbone? What is the little stash? Sid, there's your hair.
I said, why does or lower lip? I said, why does Gino look like Charlie Swan?
Jail.
Sid actually just looks like they took, like, he has no facial structure. And as a person who knows that Sidney Crosby has a beautiful jawbone, what did they do to him?
I don't know why.
Also as well, like, I love how like some of them have hair texture, and then like Mario Lemieux just has like a bowl on top of his head.
He has like some aircon.
They did Gino so dirty with his receding hairline.
I also like need you guys when we're done recording to go look at Wario's quote tweet of my tweet that she did, because it's a video, so I'm not gonna have you guys look at it now, but it is the best thing I've ever seen. But yeah, no, if you want to go look at it, it's like on my Twitter.
Gino, Wario also retweeted another one that says they got Gino looking like Lionel Richie. and he does.
Well, that was my best part was like people's reactions to these. It's because it was like I posted it because I dropped that in like the Offside work chat. I was like, guys, what am I watching? Save me from this experience. Why am I here? And I was like, you know what? No, this will do numbers on Twitter. At least numbers across like the people who follow me. I didn't expect, like, I should have known, but also at the same time, I'm like, this is something else.
Jesus.
Malkin looking like the cartel kingpin in a new Prime series. That's Gino. I thought that was Henry Cavill.
Like, it just keeps getting worse.
Why does Gino look like the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond?
They all look like
Sidney Crosby after a face transplant. Mario Lemieux, Jared Padalecki, Misha Collins, and Charlie Swan. That was another one.
Stop! It is. Jaromir looks like Jared Padalecki. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm like thinking, like, obviously that was AI, right? Like, there's, like, that was the worst part.
It's just the worst, like, Adobe Photoshop you've ever seen.
Where you just put the really bad picture on because you could only find one with the right angle, and then you just match the texture.
Yeah.
At first I'm thinking, like, every time I look at that picture now, all I see when I look at Sidney Crosby is, like, if he belongs in, like, Finding Nemo, but as a fish.
Oh my god. It's him and John Tavares both. Because, like, okay, hear me out. JT speaks with, like, his lower teeth forward.
Yeah.
You know, when you, like, don't see his top teeth and you're like, John, do you have top teeth? In my brain, he looks like a fish. In, like, a positive, like, you're my Scrimblow Scrunkins way. But also, like, JT, you're a fish.
But I'm sorry, you can't tell me that he wouldn't just be, like, swimming around, like...
Yeah.
That was my
He's finally returning to his roots of the Atlantic Ocean in Nova Scotia. He's hopping in. He is being studied at the Bedford Institute of Oceanography right now.
it's like that like that Ghostbusters book about like the girl who like is transforming into like do you know the one the Animorphs?
No, I've never seen this this book.
Okay, it's a book series called Animorphs. I gotta find like the fish one. Just Google Animorphs.
Oh, I know exactly what this is. Oh, Jesus. Audio listeners love you to death. Imagine a person in 5 different stages turning into a fish. Intermediary? Yeah. That's where Sidney Crosby looks in this like AI generated kerfuffle. These
just
are
Google
terrifying.
Animorphs.
Yeah, oh my god.
I am uncomfortable.
Scholastic, who let you do this?
That's
the one where the little boy turns into a dog. Oh my god, I have to put these away. I'm gonna have nightmares.
But yeah, before we end the show, because we are running out of time, and also as much as we could make this entire episode like 2 hours long, we don't want to do that for you guys.
We shan't.
No, we could. We very easily could, but it will
so
dissolve into a mess. The Leafs play tomorrow against LA. Joel Edmondson potentially will not be making his return to Scotiabank Arena. Because he's left, like, he had to take some time away from the team or something for personal reasons. No one really knows what.
Hope he's all right.
But his wife is expecting a child soon, so that could be it. We don't know. I don't know who's going to start in net. It could be Darcy Kemper. It could be Leafs legend. What's his face? Richard. The one who was really bad for those 2 games.
That's a great name for a goalie. The one who's really bad for those 2 games.
He played like 4 games in Toronto. And pardon?
Will that fit on the back of the jersey?
Potentially.
You squeeze the letters in.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it. David Rittich.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget he existed.
Yeah.
He still exists.
He was a Leaf for 4 games.
Good for him.
In the North Division season.
Oh, Jesus.
Which, like, half of like my favorite like Leaf legends guys, like where it's like, remember this guy was a Leaf, are from that season. But yeah, so I don't know. Who knows what'll happen that game? I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
William Nylander may be in the lineup. Who knows? Timothy Liljegren hopefully will be in the lineup because I cannot watch Conor Timmins play more hockey.
Please God save us.
Yeah. Also as well, because I've been getting notifications all episode from the lovely Offside Work chat. Both the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Florida Panthers are wearing Johnny Gaudreau on the back of their jerseys and his number 13 for warm-ups tonight for Columbus's home opener, as well as also every Florida Panthers player showed up to Nationwide with purple Gatorade and Skittles as a tribute. So, yeah, that'll be, I feel like it'll be a very sobering game to watch. At least if you don't have time or you don't want to watch the full game, I feel like it's just important to tune in for the pregame ceremonies.
Yeah.
Because I do think there's probably a couple other, and that game starts at 7:00. So
yeah, I saw a quote from Paul Maurice that was really nice while we were filming this. That the Panthers have pledged to do anything they can to help Columbus tonight. And he was saying that hockey's a close-knit group, and it's obviously a very horrible thing when something like this happens. But that he was glad it was the Florida Panthers there tonight and not another team. He thought that they could do it justice. And Matthew Tkachuk will not be in Columbus tonight for the game.
Because he is ill.
Yes.
With something. He maybe caught something in Ottawa. Who knows?
Lord, it's always Ottawa.
It's
always Ottawa.
It's always blame Ottawa. Maybe he went swimming in the canal. Who knows?
Oh God! Don't do that. Do they let people swim in that thing?
Not like well, because you can swim in the Ottawa River, and you can. I think you can go swimming at Dow's Lake. I avoid swimming in the canal or any major waterways around Ottawa because I also grew up like in Toronto and have avoided swimming in Lake Ontario at all costs for the exact same reason. So, yeah. We do skate on it though.
When maybe. It freezes.
Yeah, if it gets cold enough now. Who knows? But yeah, we'll end the show there. I'll stumble my way through closing out the show. Marcie and I will be back on Thursday for another episode. We'll talk about another hockey game, and then also because Peter Michelle announced their schedule today, and we never got into that, but we can discuss that on Thursday. Thank you, Miranda, for joining us. It was a pleasure as always.
A pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Hopefully we'll have you like sooner on than like the end of the season. Again.
We pray. Maybe I'll be back for a playoff preview. We'll make it through the regular season. Willie will have like died and been reincarnated for a 50-goal season, you know.
Mitch Marner will get his 100
illness will make
points.
Him stronger. Thank God.
Who knows? Well, yeah, we're gonna ignore those contract discussions. Look, I have personal beef with the TSN panels because
I agree.
But yeah, this has been another episode from the Fourth Line, presented by Offside News. That's really fun to say now. I get to say that.
I love
now.
it.
It's so great.
I love it. I was like, guys, we need to get Emma and Marcie's podcast. We need it. We need to build the like this powerful beast that is Offsides.
We need to build the empire, the media empire that is Offside News.
The empire of gay hockey fans and non-traditional hockey fans.
Yes. And we get that by having all of them work for us.
Amen, brother.
That's how we grow our numbers. You want to write a listicle?
And if you look at your seat, everyone gets a listicle.
Okay, Oprah.
And you're not allowed to leave until it's done.
Avery asking for more listicles in the bird chat yesterday.
Literally, we're like, guys, we need to be fun.
We're too serious now. We're doing too much serious reporting. Quick!
I'll come up with something funny. We all do.
More
sometimes.
Hockey players as reality TV shows.
God, as seasons of Survivor or something.
I haven't watched Survivor, but I have been slowly making my way through the Canada season of Race Across the World, which is essentially just like the British attempt The Amazing Race. It was really funny.
That's beautiful.
It was great. They were like, "Where's Churchill?" And I was like, "Why?" Oh no.
Jesus.
Churchill. Yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. You can find Offside News on all of your favorite social platforms at Offside News Co. You can also find them on the internet at offsidenewsco.com. You can follow Miranda. I actually don't remember your exact You probably know it.
My username on most platforms. Twitter is the most important one. It's Miranda, but with 2 M's and 2 Y's. It's a combination of Miranda and Randy because I couldn't decide on a name.
Yeah, and if you can't remember that, it will always be linked in the show notes, both of those. You can find the show on Twitter if you really like it that much, at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4 TH. And you can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can follow Marcie and I on Twitter because we're really funny between episodes. We promise. At 60 Leafs for Marcie, at Perby1 for myself. Thank you guys so much for listening. And because the Leafs are back playing tomorrow night, go Leafs go. We show expert biases here on this show. It is go Leafs go.
Always.
Always go Leafs go.
All right, thank you guys. Bye-bye.